Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Vault Jersey. Joe Archino back here. And a decision came down moments ago that really has me fuming, and that is Leicester City Football Club removing Claudio Ranieri from first-team coaching duties. And to me, this quite frankly just comes as a decision that doesn't make any sense. Leicester City right now finds themselves in quite a battle trying to keep themselves out of relegation heading into next season. There are 13 matches left in the Premier League season. We find Leicester City in 17th, so they are kind of just above that cutoff spot, but they are in a very, very real danger of going into the relegation zone. But I think the fact that it seems like to me, after you read through Leicester City's official statement of letting go, why they let go of Ranieri, they thanked him for all that he had done for the club. They said how much he had meant to the club, all nice things, which I think we would all agree with. But it seemed like their sole reason for firing him was the position they find themselves in now in the Premier League, just above trying to battle and not avoid relegation. Now, I think that really on the opposite now, they've done themselves an even bigger detriment and dug themselves in an even bigger hole by removing Ranieri from first-team coaching duty. You have 13 matches left to avoid relegation. With Ranieri gone, you have so much more turnover now. You have so much more instability now. This is not a smart move from that perspective. And I think more than anything, we all know what Ranieri was able to accomplish last season. It was the greatest accomplishment and upset in sports history. I'm not just talking about Premier League. I'm not just talking about international soccer. I'm talking about the history of sports in the world. Leicester City was 5,000 to 1 odds to win the title, and they did it. And they couldn't have done it without Ranieri. And I think, look, sometimes every manager has his own style, has his own different philosophy about things. I don't think you could find any other manager, not a top guy like a Carlo Ancelotti or an Antonio Conte or a Pep Guardiola, who could have won the Premier League title with that roster. There was something inherently unique about Ranieri, that team, that season. They just seem to have the perfect formula down. Now, I think you do kind of have to look to the future a little bit, and clearly that's one of the defenses people will say about why the axe had to be given to Ranieri now to protect the future. And to an extent, I think that's one of the better arguments to be made. But at the same time, the sole purpose and reason why he was let go now was because of the position they find themselves in. And I think that becomes even more difficult now without Ranieri. Leicester really now has to worry about relegation. Again, 13 matches left, and they've got some tough matches. They've got a match against Liverpool on Monday. I mean, without Ranieri there in place with all of this controversy now, that doesn't bode well for them, and that's a very big match against Liverpool, and we know how good Liverpool is. They're battling to be crowned champions this season. So I think right now the timing of it just doesn't make sense to anyone. I mean, Ranieri at least deserved the chance to see the season through after everything that he had done last year. And look, sometimes that's a problem in sports, is you get emotional and you get attached, but this is a completely different case scenario here. Ranieri deserved to see things through. Now, obviously, there's always things that we don't know. There's always things that happen behind closed doors that we don't know. But I think in this case, Ranieri has been adamant that he wants to see things through for Leicester, get them out of this hole based on what they did last season. And look, Leicester's problems this season are as much linked to N'Golo Kante's move to Chelsea as they are for anything else. I mean, if you talk about one player on that team last year who probably didn't get the recognition he deserved, it was N'Golo Kante. Now, Chelsea recognized that. They put him on their club, and surprise, surprise, Chelsea's in first place, probably going to win the title this season. So when you look at it, last season, Leicester City, N'Golo Kante, they win the title. N'Golo Kante moves to Chelsea in the offseason. They're in the driving seat for the Premier League title this year, and I think we could all overwhelmingly agree are probably going to win that title. But again, I think, it does upset me to an extent that Ranieri was let go now, especially coming off of the Champions League just the other day. Of course, they lose 2-1 to Sevilla, but that one goal on the road is huge. I think if anyone follows the Champions League and you understand how aggregate works and things like that, it's not the most perfect system in the world, but you understand that road goals mean a lot. Now, Leicester would have a momentum going back to the King Power Stadium. They have the road goal, and there's no reason why they couldn't pull off a big win against Sevilla at home in front of their fans and advance in this competition. Now, I don't know what what it means now that Ranieri's not there, but I think largely their season in the Champions League has been pretty successful. And again, I go back to another point. Ranieri deserved the chance to see that through, and Leicester City certainly rewarded him with financially and other things like that, but they should have stuck by their manager longer. They just should have. I mean, he accomplished something that no one ever would have expected. I mean, again, the proof is in the numbers. They were 5,001 odds to win the title last season, and he did it. And I think certainly he deserved a little bit more time to see things through. Now, again, they're not going to make that big of a jump in the remaining 13 games with or without Ranieri, but certainly he deserved to see them through this difficult season. I mean, and we saw last year Jose Mourinho with Chelsea, their title defense. He was axed halfway through the season, basically. It went terribly, horribly wrong for Chelsea. This season, obviously Ranieri was able to stick it out a little bit longer than Mourinho did in his title defense, but still, very different circumstances. I think people across the football land are very confused by the move, very angered, and I would say in many cases by the move, because again, everybody was kind of on Leicester City's side. Leicester City was kind of the story of the little guy last year. It was something so easy to get behind, and especially in a sport where you've constantly been told that the little clubs like Leicester can't compete with the Uniteds and the Arsenals and the cities of the world. Well, they did, and they won the title behind the most incredible odds in sports history. And I think that's what made it so captivating. That's what made it so easy to get connected with the team. We saw them selling more jerseys than they could print. They ran out of jerseys last season because they sold so many. So I think obviously Ranieri is always going to be remembered for what he did in that season. It was the greatest upset and the greatest accomplishment in sports history, and I don't think you'll ever see an odds of that big of a magnitude ever being crowned champions in any sport again. But certainly I think at the end of the day, all Ranieri deserved was the chance to see things through, and sadly, he will not get that chance. But let me know if you agree or not. Did Leicester City make a gigantic mistake by letting Claudio Ranieri go at this moment, or did they have to look forward more to the future, and was it the right move? Let me know. I'm very curious to see what people's thoughts on the issue are. Thank you for listening, everyone. Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Fall. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino and on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino. And I'll see everybody in the next episode.